but ultimately, it's the big question is certification expiration. And I think people get the idea. Look, it's certification expiration. If I get certified in 2018 and now we're looking, so let's fast forward to 2022 and what M2.6, M2.7, whatever it would be, is out by then. Is that 2018 certification totally relevant? The challenge was, though, when are these certification expirations going to take place? And to be frank, I sent out an email that was slightly incorrect, and
Okay.
yeah, I was pretty mad with myself about that. I had understood it differently than they had tried to communicate it. I immediately got that cleaned up. Basically, the official word is that in 2021, sometime they will evaluate when to expire the certification. So the certifications will not expire in 2021, but at some point after 2021 with plenty of notice. I mean, it could be 2, 3 years after 2021. So it's, I think it's reasonable. It's a pain, to be frank. I mean, like for me, like I have seven M2 certifications. I'm probably going to lose some number of those. I really don't feel like keeping up all seven all the time.
Right.
Just because of how much study and money ultimately will be involved there. So I think that's the biggest question
Yeah.
that there has been. There's been some, and I think they've gotten this ironed out. Some challenges around getting voucher codes working, Examity and PSI, and scores by objective. But again, it's a work in progress, and I think they're handling it pretty decent.
I mean, I wonder if another way to handle it is like there's just new certifications. Like that's sort of how
Mm,
I guess that's sort of how it happened with M1 is that I mean you could have had an M1 cert for what, 5, 6, 7 years maybe. And
long
then
time, yes.
they were sort of naturally deprecated as M2 came along.
Hmm.
And there was just new certifications. So I mean, that could
Yes.
be one approach is like if if things are that different 3 years from now in 20 or 1 year from now, 2021 than they were in 2018,
Yes.
like maybe they should just have a new certification by a different
Hmm.
name, although that could get messy too, you know.
One thing I think an extension of what you're saying there is uh, putting uh, date stamps on each one of the certifications. So I'm professional professional developer certified 2020, um, and so then the merchant can look at it, or the agency, hiring agency, or whatever is doing the interaction there, and we say, okay, I am you got certified in 2018. Well, that's we might. Are you sure your skills are up to date?
Yeah,
So the date stamp, I think, could be part of that,
yeah,
or the date stamp according to when the certification was updated.
right,
So because the certifications are supposed to be updated every year, 2 years, somewhere
yeah,
in there. So if it was date stamped based off the year of update, that
yeah,
would work. And there's a lot of complexities there because then you have um, delta exams, right? So you can say, okay, well, the changes between 2018 and 2021. Yeah, we got MSI and we have B2B and stuff like that. So maybe we just test on some of these updates as
yeah,
opposed to everything, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I was gonna say, I almost think that what will probably naturally happen is even if that 2018 cert is officially deprecated or it's officially
Hmm.
no longer valid, as I'm thinking through what the hiring process might look like, I'm imagining that, you're an agency, you're hiring a developer,
Right.
they got the cert in 2018. They don't technically
Hmm.
have a cert, but they've worked at it, their work history looks pretty solid. So you're going to go, nah, I sort of consider them certified for my purposes.
Hmm.
That said, as I'm thinking this through, if they apply it to the partner program, that's where there's going to be a real hard line on if you
Yes.
need to get X number of certifications as a partner,
Hmm.
then it won't matter if they're unofficial.
That's right.
So yeah, they'll have to figure that out. But then I guess this is going to be, it's funny. I think this might end up being another one of those things where the bigger companies get bigger in the sense that like
Yes.
you talked about, money's a factor, right? If you're an individual and you got
Yes.
8 certification, not let's say you got by then there's going to be 12 certifications and you got to maintain
Uh,
all of those,
mhm.
right? Whereas as a
Yes.
partner, it would make sense to pay for that as a partner.
Hmm.
So maybe that's what ends up happening. You know, they
And exactly, and the bigger partners, yes, they have higher certification requirements, but at the same time, they're usually big enough they easily float past that number. It's the
yeah,
and then they can have they I say backfill. That's the term that first came to my mind. They can bring on other people who don't have that high number of certifications. Maybe their certifications are outdated. Whatever. There becomes more latitude versus if smaller agencies like us, we have to work really hard to make sure that our people are up or grow or stay at a lower level than one would like to. So I think that's where, like were saying, that some of the extra challenges come in
yeah.
for those small and medium sized partners.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of sort of this dynamic of where we're moving up market in the Adobe ecosystem.